because I was trying to stop this. Once I sat in the council meeting and heard that we was trying to get a $425,000 grant, and it had never been, we'd never heard a word about it. We heard it sitting here. And I put together a package, and I took it to Michael Ray. It was costing us $2,000 a year to run that lift station down there. That's all it cost us. That's with electrical, telemetry, maintenance. And the worst thing about it, yes, you do have to climb down in the lift station. But I worked underground for 28 years. It don't bother me to climb down there.
For $2,000
A year.
they want to go to $425,000. This hasn't been approved, has it?
Well, luckily, we didn't get the grant. But it was brought up at every council meeting last year, and I'm sitting here going, I don't like that, don't know why we're doing that. So I brought up a package saying, we need to stop this, we're not spending that much money on it. And, in April is when I tried to stop the $825,000 grant, and I thought I had because I wrote the thing when Jeff Oglesby laid it on the desk. Now, there's another kicker gonna make you mad. We paid $20,000 for a piece of plywood. On that $825,000, the first thing I seen is they wanted $50,000 for more headwork modification. I really liked that one. And then when I seen the facility plan he sent to the state, he upped it to $100,000. So you tell me if we're throwing darts at it, I don't know.
So he worked for KBR?
But come November or December, the new mayor's here, we're sitting at a council meeting. He don't say nothing about the $425,000. All of a sudden I hear we're trying to get $825,000 for plant renovations. And I'm going, I stopped that in April. Where's the $425 you've been asking for? Well, I found out that we did not get the $425, thank you, Lord. And then I went to Mayor Smith and I said, listen, I stopped the $825 back in April. And that's when we started having emails. Jerry said, no, we didn't. Had another meeting and he was approved to turn in the facility plan, whatever. So we had a meeting January the 10th. Every department head, the mayor, Jerry, Dawn, where are we at on our grants? Where are we at? We want to know. And it was that day, on January the 10th, that I finally got the 825 stopped, But this is one of the papers here, and this really don't fall into what we're doing, but it falls into the scheme of things. It's got the drinking water downtown water lines, amount awarded, $412,500. Sewer project, Spring Street, amount awarded, $375,000. Monthly payments begin at the end of project fall 2019. Now, would you not think you had that money? Huh? There was never one word ever mentioned that it was pending approval of us raising our sewer and water rates. Never come up, never said. They had the whole meeting explain to us what our grants and stuff was. The first time we ever heard that we weren't getting this is when the mayor got the letter from the state saying, y'all never did get back with us on that. So they had the whole meeting in January to say, well, we don't have these yet. I'm just telling you kind of what we've been going through. It's been very frustrating. But I'm glad that we stopped the 825 and the 425 didn't go through. But to get back to Turner Farm, we've got some options.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We've got some options. Number one, we've got 2 6-inch suction valves, 2 4-inch discharge valves. Replace dehumidifier, the bubbler system. We have most of our problems with that bubbler system because it's got to have a compressor down there. But we think we can fix everything we need down there for $15,000.
In-house? In-house?
No, we'll have to bid it out. It'll have to go, it's over 10,000, and we'll probably have to bid it out to a contractor.
Okay.
Because they'll have to come in and set up a bypass pump to replace those valves. But once they replace them, anything we need to do, we can do in-house. Even a motor, I've got in here, I think I quoted the motors at $500.
Do we have to amend the budget on this? Was this-
No, I think I got
good?
money in the budget.
You
I think I got money in my collection, I think, to do it.
They're concerned right now. If you
Option number 2,
pump.
there's a company called Bound 2. I put a little bit of them, of their info in there. But they have their own engineers. They do all kind of water, wastewater stuff, and they're out of Gleason, Tennessee. And I talked with Mr. Matt Smith, he's city manager of Wartrace. And he had the same situation we got where he was having to climb down in a lift station and stuff. And he had them to come up and they gave him a a lock key price. They asked him what kind of pumps he wanted. He got everything the way he designed, the way he wanted it. And he actually used bigger pumps than we're using, and it cost him $85,000. I had Wascon to come down. We showed them the blueprints, talked to them about what we'd like to be done, and they said if we decided that they wanted to bid it out, we would be looking at less than $100,000. The other one is a Seeker grant or loan for $425,000 through what they was trying to do. This is our frustrations. We're trying to do what's best for the town. We suggest going with option one. That's probably our biggest cost in any lift station is $15,000, and we ought to be set for the
Y'all feel-
next 4, 5, 6 years.
Y'all feel confident on that option one now? Y'all feel
Yeah,
like that-
well,
That's a good looking lift station.
Yeah.
It
It's,
looks
we
pretty
probably have
new.
less trouble with it than any we have because it don't have a whole lot of flow. It gets to the back of Jackson Avenue and it gets what's coming from the jail around that way. And then it pumps to the radio
Only
station.
problem about these gate valves, they will not
Uh,
close off. If we got a pump goes down now, we can't pull it,
Yeah.
flood the station. We gotta get them fixed, and that's, these
Right.
got it priority high.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's
And
our
we got the
highest
money
priority.
for it.
Yeah.
I think we have $20,000 or $25,000 in collections. And, even if we have to move a little bit out of our maintenance and repair into it, that's something we probably need to look at. But we got, 2 projects at the sewer plant, and they're gonna be kind of difficult because they have to do with the infrastructure of it. The clarifiers were built in probably '78, Ricky, somewhere around there, and the metal's getting deteriorated in it. And we have a sweep on top that sweeps around and it gets the trash and stuff off. Well, it's hooked to a barrel. And last year, we had the cables on the bottom sweep broke. So we had an emergency situation. We had to call the state, bypass the plant, Wascon come in. We had to pump everything out. But while they were fixing it, they found that the sweep and barrel was getting very weak on the interior.
Metal's getting thin.
And, it's one of those deals, we're working on getting some paperwork because we talked to Jerry Cravens and we know the bid, they'll probably have to go out in the paper because of the bid, but, you know, his thing is either the town of Carthage is gonna spend a lot of money they don't need to, or somebody like Wascon is gonna not make much money unless you do this job by the hour and plus cost or something, because you don't know till you get in there what you're getting into, till you start actually cutting the metal. But we're gonna get some paperwork on that, and the other is relining the clarifier, digester, mixed liquor. We'll have to pump it out and get some quotes on coming in and probably sandblasting and spraying a liner in it. Other than that, that's the only thing we see we need to do down there because we're trying to keep everything at a minimum because we know in the near future is gonna probably be a new plant going in.
That's what I was gonna ask you
Right.
about. Do you feel like, how long we got on this? So we got 5 to 7 years of that.
Ricky, what do you think
I would
on the
think-
relining and stuff?
The relining probably needs to be done pretty quick, I'd say within the next couple of years. 'Cause above ground, we're getting a few little holes in there that needs to be addressed.
Okay, so 1 to 2 years on that. Do you guys don't even have a ballpark estimate on?
I know what Jerry put down to do the relining,
Well,
$100,000, so I figure about 20. I mean, I hate to be smart, but, you know, I'm just.
The Jerry Warren ratio.
Use that equation a little, but when we go to the expo, these companies down there
Oh, yes.
that do this, they demonstrate this, we got contacts in the field that we can call
Okay.
and we can get references, and that's my thing. I come down here and tried to do this the last 2 or 3 years, and it just didn't work.
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at is like, and I'm just trying to look, you know, well past when I won't be in here, but like looking at a future, you know, a future sewer
Right.
plant, where we can put a future sewer plant, one, and you know, seeing if it's something we could possibly tie in with some other cities and with
Absolutely.
the county, and we'd save a ton of money.
Right.
And I know y'all had talked to South Carthage and Gordonsville up there, over where the new
Tony and stuff.
yeah. And so you know, that's kind of where like I feel like, you know, we definitely need to invest in maintenance, keep it maintaining. But as far as like anything new, you know, really start rolling the ball on some of that. And it might be several years till we get to it, but
Right.
it's coming up.
Right.
We need to start talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, you start it right now, it'd take, what, 3 or 4 years to get,
Yeah.
Minimum.
Enrique,
Yeah.
Enrique and I may not be here forever, which, you know, we brought in a good guy, but if y'all want us in part of it, and we don't mind that, I mean, we love trying to do what's best and look for the future, but we've just been really frustrated trying to get things done or trying to watch over the city's money, and I couldn't get a bid. I would come down here and try to get them to let me get a bid, and I was told, well, they'll have to come down here and give a demonstration, and jury won't want to be sitting in on it. And I'm like, well, you know, I just might as well quit. I'm just that frustrated. But Mayor Smith has listened. I want to thank her for letting us come to y'all and for y'all coming, and we give you what we want to do in the future, and it's not a whole lot, I don't think, compared to what we've been spending. I don't see where we need to look at a grant or a loan.
Well, the good news is if we do need, now that we have those old bad
Right.
maps off, we can now
Yeah,
get
but
a revolving fund loan grant at a.
I just know there's been some frustration over the water and the sewer. Listen, we all sat in that meeting that day. I thought we had the money. Nobody never told me we didn't have the money for that water line or that sewer line. They had all day to tell me. They never said it.
Talking about Futural Alley.
Yeah, nobody never told us that. So I guess our final thing, y'all can ask some question, but we just hope that we've shown at least a small example of how our grants and SRF projects have been done in the past. Say we've not been pleased would be an understatement. By not reapplying for the $425,000 Turner Farm loan and by stopping the $825,000 sewer plant upgrade loan, we've saved the taxpayers $1.25 million. And from this day forward, we just request that all our needs of our department, no matter how big or small, are submitted to the mayor with all viable options for consideration. And then the mayor would determine if we have the funding for such needs, and if it's determined we need to seek a grant or SRF loan, the proper procedures be used. And I mean, you know, I think,
Which those procedures, that was what you had in the back of this one.
The very back page of that.
and
And I mean, these procedures make sense to me. It's just like, identify a need, ask for a professional to assist, find sources for funding first, then find the company to do construction, and then do that's A, B, C, D, E.
To me, it's a conflict of interest. If he's finding the money to fund a project that he came up with a
Yeah.
price on, that he's gonna get a cut off of.
Yeah.
well,
Just my
I mean,
opinion.
it's grant hunting.
when we,
I mean, it's like Washington D.C. It's everything that's wrong with Washington D.C. right here.
The water plant also has some
yeah,
things they want to share. some-
that's kind of our
Yeah.
thing, and we appreciate y'all listening to us.
yeah, we appreciate
And
that.
Hey, I appreciate
just know we're
$1.25
trying-
million.
We
Just
appreciate
know
it.
that we're trying to
Yeah.
do what's best for the town.
If any of that, anybody wants to
Actually,
see,
y'all saved
y'all
us
come and
almost-
visit the sewer
almost
Thank you.
plant.
Seriously.
We can show you what we're talking about.